ladies and gentlemen, make sure you tune in every Wednesday night for couples therapy. Actually, now we're going to do it every other third Wednesday night. Friday night, we do what is called Friday Night Live. We go live at 9 p.m. It is a call-in show. We do the follow-up on Sundays. Sunday Night Live, call-in show at 8 p.m. Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday, we do this lovely thing called therapy session. Therapy session on all six nights, shall I say. We do interviews of the latest, greatest, the hottest in the city, business owners, entertainers of all kinds, whether you're an actor, actress, model, whatever it is that you do. Yes, even for the adult entertainers, we pull you in as well. Make sure you go ahead and go to hustlefit.com, get your merch, as well as the clothing line, Hustle Fit. We also do custom clothing, whether you want t-shirts, hoodies, joggers, uniforms, anything you can think of, we can pretty much design and do. That is at hustlefit.com. You can also message me on Instagram at hustlefit at gmail.com. Fit is P-H-I-T, just like you see on the screen. Outside of that, thank you for tuning in to another episode of Therapy Session here on No Cap Reacts. I'm your man Bailey, a.k.a. Mr. Go Get 'Em. And we are back in the building with another episode. And as promised, we have a special guest in the building. The one, the only, one of Phoenix's finest. I'm going to shut the fuck up and let him introduce himself.
The man of the people, Fe'La, Iniko. You already know what it is.
All right, and if the people want to find you, where will they find you at?
You can find me anywhere, whether it's Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, just F-E''L-A, and then my last name is Iniko, I-N-I-K-O.
Okay. Welcome to the show, sir.
Peace and love, peace and love, peace and love.
All right, so the first time I heard about you, my brother actually introduced us over the phone. Me, you, and my brother had a conversation. That was about, 6, 7 months ago?
Yeah.
Might have been even longer than that.
A little bit of time. Life been lifing.
Yes, sir. In that time frame, I done seen a lot of the things that you've done via the internet, as well as, we did this. We both ended up in the same building at the same time for this wonderful event called IceCon.
Yeah.
So here we are today. You are now officially on the couch of No Cap Reacts.
No cap.
So now we get to actually have like real conversation and really let the people. Let's see if the people gravitate to you by chance. Are you going to be in the Arizona Hip Hop show?
The Arizona Hip Hop.
What's it called? Arizona Hip Hop Festival.
No, I won't be at the festival.
Okay, I always ask because there's a lot of people in Phoenix here, so they might be wanting to know what events do you have coming up?
Right now, I don't have any events coming up, but I am working on some intimate concerts that I'm gonna be throwing out here. Some backyard concerts. Motivated by none other than La Russell.
Okay. All right. So, first and foremost, we always like to start at the beginning. But before we do that, where can they find you on the internet?
They can find me most appropriately on Instagram and Facebook. Just type in F-E''L-A, and then my last name is I-N-I-K-O.
All right, now you go by Fe'La.
Yeah.
But you're wearing Fe'La.
Yeah. Shout out to Fe'La.
I like the way you kind of do that because it's a play on words.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, definitely.
They're not even pronounced the same, but you are able to use that to your advantage.
Yes.
I would say that's a good marketing strategy.
It definitely is.
Where'd that come from?
Well, the name the name was something that I had created and actually derives from an African activist slash musician by the name of Fe'La, and I just put the apostrophe over the E and changed the pronunciation to Fe'La. So that's separate from I didn't do that like to want to make it, you know what I'm saying, coincide with Fe'La. It just happened to be like, oh snap, it is close to Fe'La. Like people would make fun of it whenever I would go by that name. They'd be like, oh, Fe'La, like the old Fe'La gear. So I was like, huh. So I just started doing my research on Fe'La, and I was like, okay, you know what? I think it would be in my best interest to try to get them to sponsor me. You know what I'm saying?
Especially start rocking in what Grant Hills. Them was the
I'm
big deals.
man. I'm finna get the Grant Hills next. I definitely been investing, and I'm trying to get them to definitely
invest in you.
Yeah, definitely. It's not a USA corporation too, so that's definitely that's also another plus.
Go ahead and shoot them shots. Get them. All right. So where are you from?
I'm from California. Specifically, I'm from it's LA County, but it's a gentrified city north of LA, which is called Palmdale.
Hey, I know Palmdale well. My uncle actually grew up on Joseph Drive. Well, no, he didn't grow up. He lived on Joseph Drive, literally 4 houses down from where Mike Tyson lived at.
Really?
Yeah. So my uncle and my grandfather both lived in Palmdale.
Oh, really?
That's actually the first place I ever saw snow.
Wait, hold on. You saw snow in Palmdale?
Yeah, it actually had snowed. I didn't say it stuck, but it had actually snowed in Palmdale.
It don't really snow in Palmdale.
Yeah, it snowed in Palmdale. It was like, what, 1991?
Now, when was that is the question.
1991.
1991. That's Palmdale's a lot different. Palmdale's like little LA now.
Well, Palmdale in the 90s was where rich niggas went to go. That was the Rancho Cucamonga. That was there, Apple Valley.
Yeah.
And then Riverside.
Right.
And yeah, since then, it has definitely changed. I am from Inglewood, born and raised.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I've been in and out of LA when you that close. Like, all my family is from Watts, Long Beach, South Central, all of that area. So. And like I said, it's a gentrified city. So it's a lot different.
Inglewood is gentrified now. Since they put in that damn stadium.
It's a lot different from 1991 for sure. Like it's little like everybody that was in LA got pushed because of the gentrification. Got pushed to Palmdale, pushed to Victorville, places that's the outskirts of LA.
Yeah, Victorville, Apple Valley, Rancho. I wouldn't say they got pushed. This is usually what happens because they come in and offer them large sums of money, more than what their homes are worth. So then, as most people do, they take the money and then they go to what used to be what we knew as the good part, such as the Palmdales and the ranch.
Nah, they force people out, man.
Well, yeah. Again,
they don't give.
If I'm offering you 3 times of what your house is worth. That's forcing you out.
They don't do that for most of the people though. In the inner cities.
Well,
it's more so strong armed. People don't be getting the value of their property when they get gentrified. I mean, people do, but most of the people don't get the value of their property when they get gentrified like that.
Well, so
it's really circumstances
everyone
the cost
is different.
Of living is higher in that city now. Things are different in that city that actually forces them to have to
number one reason I won't move.
Them out.
Reason I won't move back is because of how expensive it's gotten.
And that's the thing. People think that gentrification started in the last 4 or 5 years. Like, no,
it's like
knew.
In the last 20 years.
Yeah, they been knew they was gonna do that. So this is something they've been pushing people out for years. You know what I'm saying?
The ones they can't push out are the homeowners. Now, if you rent. Or you think so? I got the Hudnalls who still live on 109th and Dinker. Okay, they've owned their home. Well, I'm fucking 44 now. They've owned their home longer than I've been alive. Okay, this last offer was like $3 million for their home. Now this is right there at Washington Prep, and like a mile and a half from the new football stadium, 2-3 miles away from the Forum, which they're redoing the Forum. So they trying to get all them people out of there because they want to build up those older black neighborhoods.
Yeah.
Now the last time I was there, so I put it like this: before I left in the 90s for college, okay, you couldn't wear certain colors.
Right.
You couldn't walk down the street at night.
Right.
There were still shootings on a regular basis, helicopters over your head at all times. Okay. It was probably 2017, 2018. I'm walking up Dinker. I'm walking up 108th. Now I'm wearing at least $40,000-$50,000 worth of jewelry, diamonds. I got on my diamond Breitling watch. I got a whole camera out because what I was doing the whole time was literally like doing a version of autobiography of this is where I grew up. This was my neighborhood, but it looked nothing like this. Yeah. When I grew up, niggas was on the street corner. Like I could have never have walked around like this. Definitely had no camera out. Yeah. And then literally caught it on video, an old ass white lady walking her little bitty ass dog. It's that was not allowed.
Seeing people walking their dog or jogging at night in LA is crazy.
Yeah, it's totally different. And where I grew up at, when I say blood neighborhood, it was if you didn't wear red, something was wrong. And my favorite color been blue since I came out the pussy. Yeah. So I was always fighting. So to be in my neighborhood and see that much of a change definitely let me know. So we talk, so many people, we talk about gentrification, but we don't actually get to see. I got to see it.
Yeah, man. Yeah, you definitely, it's right in your face. It's definitely right in your face. And it's just a part of the system. It's just a part of the system.
What's up, Femo? So my cousin ain't here right now. He said what's up, relative. That's how I be looking in my hood. Yes, sir.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
So I understand exactly what it is. Palmdale, 80s and the 90s was where the rich people, again, Mike Tyson lived there.
Yeah.
So
you had Afro Man. Remember Afro Man?
I remember Afro Man.
Palmdale, come back to hey, that's it ain't the same. I'm trying to tell y'all it's not the same, man. It's pretty gritty in Palmdale now.
So what was it like for you growing up in Palmdale?
For me, it was the typical trying to find yourself, being adopted because I didn't really have a father like that. So when you don't have a father like that, you get adopted by male figures that are in the streets. You know what I'm saying? So certain people become your uncle. Certain people become your, you know what I'm saying, like a pops to you. You know what I'm saying? And that was kind of my life, where it was like more so, you know, those gang members that I happened to run into or that were in my apartment building or whatever the case may be, happened to be those influences in my life. So for me, growing up was really like, you know, just really trying to figure out myself and what it is that I was trying to do with life. And just, you know.
Trust me, I know.
Yeah.
I done seen plenty of my friends jump off in that life. Shit. My cousin who's sitting here messaging me right now, he blooded out 100%.
I'm fortunate, though.
So
I'm fortunate. See, the system is like, the way the system is designed, you know what I'm saying? Like, people like me, we live in the same environment. We live in the same society. And so I was fortunate that I got certain gang members, certain OGs that was kind of telling me the right shit, like stay in school, whoop-de-whoop, sports, giving me certain wisdom. The OGs that kind of was like, you know, that shit, this, that, and the third, like they was giving you that different kind of knowledge.
Well, Cali OGs are way different.
Yeah, but
California is different as a whole.
Yeah, for sure. The
the OGs in LA wanted you. They didn't want you to follow in their footsteps.
Well, and that's not just with gang members. What I mean is like for instance, that's what I was fortunate with. I got plenty of friends that weren't fortunate with those inspirations. They ran into the niggas that was like, let's go hit a lick, nigga, let's go do some robbery, let's go whoop these niggas' asses, let's go do this, that, and the third. Those were the ones they got exposed to, and that whether that's in gang banging or teachers, I was fortunate to get the teachers that even though they weren't getting the pay, they still, you know what I'm saying, still took the time to talk to me and give me the right direction and look at me and say, yo, I see potential in you.
So you had real OGs around you that was more so they would rather guide you to do something better instead of just pushing you into the streets.
I was a good kid in a mad city. For sure. And like I said, I was fortunate with that. My friends, a lot of my friends weren't fortunate with that same knowledge and inspiration and guidance.
Yeah, I feel that I got a lot of friends in the exact same situation that unfortunately they are not here today. The majority of them are no longer breathing. The other half, unfortunately, are incarcerated.
God bless them. So. And I say that because people judge people too quick and don't understand. They don't look at the bigger picture. They're not looking through their third eye, and they don't understand, like, because you get people that be like, I grew up in the same circumstances, and this is how I turned out. It's like, nah, man, like, everybody's
everybody's circumstances separate. Really ain't. There's a lot of things that are the same, but it's also different.
Yeah.
Because this is the thing. Those exact same OGs saw something in you that they probably saw in somebody else that was like, okay, he's just going to be a knucklehead, so go ahead and get out in the streets and do the crazy shit.
Right.
So it's totally different, and it's also based off of how you carry yourself.
Yeah, but even then, there were things in my life that I was exposed to make me teachable.
Yeah.
To give me that energy. I'm not just finna sit here and say I came out the pussy just that, you know what I'm saying, just wise and all of a sudden this good energy. It's like, no, we're all born and exposed to certain things. And it's just like everybody's different, you know what I mean? Everybody's situation different.
So growing up, what kind of music would you say you was listening to?
Growing up, man, I was listening to the oldies, man, the old school shit. My mom was always listening to the old school stuff, like TLC and Erykah Badu and Lauryn Hill. You know what I mean? Motherfuckers like that. And then my stepfather.
He said the old school shit. That's what I grew up.
That's
when I was in high school.
Yo, all the motherfuckers that the greats are inspired by today, yeah. I was inspired by those greats, and that's why it makes me as dope as I am with music, because I was listening to, again, I was exposed to the right artists. You know what I'm saying? Had I been exposed to Ratchet or like Soulja Boy or some shit like that, like maybe I'd be rapping about something different. But again, like my stepfather, he would always listen to Biggie Smalls a lot, and I was really taken in by how Biggie was good at what he was doing, his ability
to wordsmith.
Catch the words, to flip the words and stuff like that. And you know, I just thought that was really interesting. And Bow Wow is what really started me. Like, he actually started my rap career. Because
so that was gonna be my next question: is knowing that you now do music, what was the first album that you ever listened to, song for song, beginning to end?
The first album I ever listened to, song for song, beginning to end, the Marshall Mathers LP.
Okay.
That was the first album I ever listened to.
So we got another question for you. He said, "Are you a Blood or Keyway?"
My history is definitely with blood ties. My father was a Crip. He actually started his hood. So that was an interesting story for me.
And then he said, "Yeah, that shit's stupid to me now. I be telling people to do something else, but I always been like that 100. You know, I don't act like a banger at all. And then he said, "Not better than Pac."
Yeah, yeah.
I know Pac gonna always be my number one.
Oh yeah, Pac is number one.
All
Pac is
right.
definitely number one.
So, Marshall Mathers' first album you ever listen? Eminem.
That was the first. I mean, everything else was kind of just song for song as a kid.
Bow Wow is what really Bow Wow's what made you go, okay, I'm finna do this shit.
Specifically or particularly because he was a kid.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, snap. So you don't have to be an adult to do this. Like, you could be like a kid. I mean, I didn't really see Chris Cross like that. I mean, I knew it was other kids, but Bow Wow was like really rapping like, oh, this nigga is dope. Like, I thought he was
Bow
dope.
Wow came along and put like children's rap on the map.
Yeah,
But at the same
for
time,
sure.
he was so like I had Chris Cross. Chris Cross was definitely my generation. And Another Bad Creation. But ABC was more so like singing. But when Bow Wow came in, Bow Wow came and showed you that it was cool to be an adult-like kid.
Yeah, man.
So,
yeah, Bow Wow
I feel that.
he's the reason for a lot of motherfuckers rapping, and nobody want to give Bow Wow his credit, but he's definitely the reason for a lot of these niggas rapping for sure.
And he live here now in Levine.
Oh, word?
Yeah.
Oh, that's what's up. That's what's up, man.
That's why he keeps popping up at 11:11.
That's crazy, man. That's crazy. Yeah, man. Yeah.
All right. So, what would you say when you started out? What would you say your style was like?
When I started out, my style was sounding like everybody. So I had sounded like Eminem first. Eminem was the person I had sounded like. And it's a lot going on because just certain albums that got introduced to me because my mom had this. She used to have this big one of them old school album books where you had all the CDs and the little plastics.
Yeah. I had
little
used to have
slithers and
man
shit.
driving around in that motherfucker
Oh
on road
man,
trips.
when I started wanting to get into hip hop, I was like, oh, let me check these out, and I started checking all these albums out and all these different styles, and the styles that really stuck to me was like Eminem, Lil Wayne. I was sounding like DMX at one point. Like I was sounding like a lot of people trying to find my style.
His ass was barking at people.
And I was just, but again, I had started music at a really young age. You know what I'm saying? Like I was like 7, 8 years old when I started rapping. So it was a lot of just finding myself. You know what I'm saying? And when I got a hold of Tupac's albums, that's when shit just changed. Cause certain Damus, certain gang members that I would hang out with, they were from Death Row.
Yeah.
Some of them were from Death Row. So I used to hear all the stories that would go on in the studios and all kind of shit. But most importantly, they would praise Tupac like he was God. So I used to always really get into Tupac, the documentaries, his music, and then I used to just listen to Tupac all the time. Like that's all I would listen to is Tupac. That's all I would study. That's all I would read about. That's everything that I would try to do. And then like it's a lot. It's a lot when you start music at a young age because you go into elementary school paying attention to literature differently, paying attention to poems and stanzas and just English and just history. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of shit that goes on when you start from a young age. You know, it's like that's why I tell rappers. You know what I'm saying? Like I feel like rap is kind of like baseball. Like they'll tell you with the quickness. If you ain't been like playing baseball for a certain amount of years, like you can't play. So I definitely been trying to find myself since you know what I mean, since doing music.
Understandable. All right. So fast forward. How the hell you end up in Arizona?
I ended up in.
They gonna be like, who the fuck he doing? He back there on his Instagram live going crazy.
So I came out here a while ago it was a job opportunity at the time. And so when I came out here, it was a good job getting paid enough. It was enough for me to like move and get the hell up out of California. And so I did that, and I've been here for about 8 years now.
Yeah.
About 8 years, yeah. Arizona's like the wilderness.
Think so?
It's like the wilderness. If you understand the story of Moses and the people of Moses and how they was in the wilderness, Arizona's like the wilderness. Like, I came to the wilderness and it made me think. It made me grow. It made me evolve. It made me really figure out myself as a man and as an artist too. As an artist too.
My fam said we all got a link.
Yeah, definitely.
So here I will say this. I've been here for 12 years now. And in my time that I've been out here, I can say that Arizona it makes if you're truly in tap with who you are, it turns you into a better man.
It does.
When I came out here, I didn't even think about the fact that I was out here for about 3 weeks before I was like, damn, I got a cousin named Gilbert. I got family in Surprise. Like, I didn't see nobody. I really came out here and forgot I had family in Phoenix because I was living in Missouri. I went to college in Missouri, stayed in Missouri. My mom and dad from St. Louis.
Right.
So when I got out here, it was 100% I'm grinding. I got to do this on my own. I ain't got nobody to fall back on. I ain't got no help. And that was the thought process. That was the mentality. And I didn't think about any of that. And then it was crazy because after about 2 years, 3 years being here, I started dating this chick. Mm-hmm. And she like, I got this dude that I went to school with where I used to do hair. His last name is Bailey too. And then I walked into a Gold's Gym where I met this other cat, and he was a cousin. So then I go and I call my family. I was like, hold up, we got family on the Bailey side. I said, hell yeah, you got a shit ton of family out there. So then I met with this crazy nigga that's in the chat right now. And that was the first time like we had ever really, really kicked it. And because I got family all throughout LA. I got family all in St. Louis, Mississippi, fucking Atlanta, Florida, Texas, Arkansas, and Oklahoma.
That's what's up.
But I had never even came to Arizona, never thought about coming to Arizona.
I was on the same tip, man. Arizona was
not
not
on
a
the radar.
place that was like I would go to. It was not.
So when I got here, yeah, I will say it is like, because what it does is it makes you grow. It makes you grow into who you are meant to be so that you can flourish.
Yeah.
And I feel like when it came to moving here, it opened other doors and mentally that were probably closed because, you know, when you're around friends and family, you don't really have to push yourself.
Right.
When you by yourself, you realize, oh shit, like I gotta be.
You gotta really do what you gotta do.
So is that when you say wilderness? Is that the feeling that you got when you came out here? Like it made you?
Yeah, like it felt. I felt when I came here. I felt it just was a lot. It's just a slower city, a slower state in Arizona. Like it's slower than, especially coming from LA. Like it's slower. And so you feel a little bit isolated from big media, big brands, you know what I'm saying? Hollywood and shit like that. Like you're away from all of that as an artist. You're away from all of those kind of places. So being in Arizona kind of just, like I said, it allowed me to basically block the noise.
Yeah, it's easy.
You know, because when you're in LA, it's a lot of competition everywhere, noise everywhere, scams everywhere. Like all of this, it's a whole lot of stuff going on that you're not figuring you out. You're not doing the most important thing, which is figure you out. And so when you come out here, you're forced to like figure you out because shit is slower. You know, it's a lot more. You're isolated. And when you're isolated like that, anytime you're isolated, it makes you get into your mind and who you are and make you really think about shit. So I love Arizona for that. I love Arizona for that.
So musically, did it change for you? Did it enhance something for you?
It enhanced. It greatly enhanced. It greatly enhanced. Cause I was like I said, I was able to get away from all of the noise that's in LA and being in a big city. And so I was able to really, and also like when you grow as a man and you evolve, it makes you better as an artist too. If you're really about your craft, it makes you better as an artist
Hands down.
because you have more to, especially. But it depends on the type of artist. It depends on the type of artist you are, because if you're an artist that's talking about bullshit, then it doesn't really matter if you're evolving or not. But if you're evolving and you're an artist that's more so about moral content or moral stability, or you know what I'm saying, real substance, you have so much to talk about.
Hold
You
on.
have so much that people can relate to, like rapping about my struggles, rapping about me tapping into my insecurities, rapping about me being more politically aware, rapping about my life is relatable to everybody because they all deal with the same shit that I deal with. And so that's why my music is the way it is, and it's so good because when you hear it, you feel like you're listening to what you're going through.
He said we the biggest family in Arizona. Even the police said that. Nigga, our family tree is
What'd he say?
ridiculous. So on the Bailey side, okay, for instance, like this nigga here, he got 17 kids by himself. My
Jeez.
older brother got 16 kids.
That's a lot of kids.
My father is one of 22.
16 kids?
My father is one of 22.
That's a lot of kids.
Our family,
22?
our family is ridiculous. So yeah,
It's
I
a lot of
agree with you
fucking.
on that. But this is the thing. You know what the crazy part about our family is? He got all his kids. My grandfather, my grandfather,
Oh, that's
grandmother was still
beautiful.
there. We have all of our children. I mean,
That's beautiful.
outside, unfortunately for my older brother, he the only one that's the oddball out.
That's beautiful.
But yeah, we take care of ours. He said it's like 300 or 400 of us out here. There's more than 300 or 400 of us out here. That's just the Baileys. Sit your ass down. We gonna finish this interview, nigga. He going wild today. All right. So now that you are in touch with your musical side and where you at and what you're doing now, right? Because this is the crazy part, and this is what I've learned about growth as a human being. Now you've gotten to a point to where you've gotten in touch with yourself. You've now grown. You've created this monster that you are today, right? What's the next step?
The next step is always to liberate people and to wake as many people up as I can, to touch as many lives as I can with the knowledge that I've accumulated and collected, because I've spent all of my life since a kid, because since a kid I've always wanted to help people. So I've spent my life trying to figure out what that means, because you go through these stages where you're like, oh, helping people means saving them to Jesus. Oh, helping people means giving them money. Oh, helping people means helping them politically. Oh, helping people means giving them moral mental stability. You know what I'm saying? Like you go through all of these stages because you're like trying to figure out, what is helping people, what does it mean? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so my next step is always going to be reaching the next person, trying to get to the person who I haven't gotten to. There's a whole lot of people that I haven't gotten to. I'm still a small brand, but once, you know what I'm saying, once things start to roll, I'm going to be very impactful because of the knowledge that I've accumulated and collected on behalf of trying to help people. You know what I'm saying? So that's always going to be my next step.
And I guess a Don DeMarco, because this is the thing. A lot of people um get to a certain pinnacle in life and they tend to forget about others. So like I created this podcast just based off of the fact that again I used to do music, I was signed, I have a somewhat cult following when it came to like the music aspect, and then people still do their best to try to keep up with me.
Mm-hmm.
So as an artist, you know what I realized? Before I got signed, wasn't nobody beating my door down to say, come be on my radio show. Because podcast wasn't a thing then. Wasn't nobody saying, come be on my radio show. Come be, now you had the local TV shows where they was doing local, they wasn't blowing my phone up or anything to say, hey, come be on my show, come do this. Unless they were saying, you know, for $500, I'll put you on my show, etc. Right? So what I did is I was like, let me create something that I know I can do, which is a podcast where people can see and hear from other people before they get to the pinnacle, that next level where the world knows about you. Let's put you on a platform where hopefully this platform gets you an extra 5,000-10,000 people that start to tap in, listen to the music, and do things such as etc. Whether you're music, artist, entertainer of any kind, shit, even for the OnlyFans girls, shit, get your bag.
Yeah.
And well, how much did it cost you to come get on here?
Nothing.
Exactly.
That is really important today, especially these days, because artists are getting exploited up the ass, and it's horrible, man. It's horrible.
So for me, and I ain't gonna lie, like there's people I've given chances to, and they just don't show up. And I'm like, you know what? I should start charging people like $50 just to come be on. But then when they show up, give them their money back. Because it's just the point that most people don't take things seriously till they show up. But then I learned something real quick. If you cancel, there's 100% chance I'm never gonna reschedule.
Right.
I just don't reschedule.
Right. Nah, people, niggas don't take this shit serious.
And then
that's for sure.
And then the other part is, like, I gave you a chance just for the fact of you being you, and you didn't take it serious. And then what happens is you see your friend or your partner or whatever come on, and you see what happens with them, and then, hey, can I reschedule? I'll let you know when the schedule's free. No, see, if shit had like one guy, he got into a car accident. I respect that. He even showed the pictures he got into a car accident.
I would hope so.
I respect that. But when you no call, no show, like you message the hell out of me.
That's disrespectful.
And up until the day it was time for you to show up, and then you just didn't show up. You know, it's like dating. When you got the chick, she blowing your phone up until it's time for you to meet, and then that's the day she decides to go totally silent.
No call, no shows, and spit in the face. That's disrespectful.
So shit like that is like, cool. You just gonna watch what happens and look on the outside looking in. And sometimes they come, oh, I'm sorry, this is such and such. This is what happened. I don't know. We see too many things. I've seen too many things. I know when you're being serious and when you're not. So now that you are here, what projects have you released so far?
I have 2 albums out right now.
Let them know where they at, where they can find them.
The first album is called Rehab, and that album is basically about mental stability. You know, people, the insecurities of humans, mainly when it comes to rehab. And then Revo is about political awareness. So if you're trying to get political awareness and you're trying to get, because you got to have, like, everybody's got to have some political awareness, because, having political awareness is power. And you got to have, and there's power in knowledge. There's power in knowing what's going on in your society, in your country, in your society, in your system that you live in. It's really important. So those are the 2 projects that I have out right now, and those are really really classic projects, and there's no telling how long they'll stay up.
Now, here's the question, because the world that we are currently in right now
Mm-hmm.
is crazy. What is your political stance on where the world is at as we see it today?
My stance on the world right now, as far as politically,
Yep.
we are being oppressed.
Well, we've been oppressed for a long ass time, but elaborate on what you see as oppression in today's modern times as a whole.
Oppression, I mean, whether it's old or modern, it's still the same as far as capitalism. Like that's the main problem in this world. The main problem in this world is capitalism.
Well, money is what money is one of those things that is always going to be the problem, because unfortunately
It's not the money. The money's not the problem.
it is, because it's the rich and they want us to get
The
richer.
wealthy.
Okay.
Let's not.
True. The wealthy.
The wealthy.
The
yeah.
ones that truly have unlimited amount of funds or access to funds.
The people who
There is a level of
people who not
power.
only have funds, but
They-
they own the natural resources.
Correct. They have an abundance of power that at this point is getting to where they're almost unstoppable, and they have a thumb on the little people.
Too big to fail.
So how does that ever change? Because unfortunately, the little people, the non-wealthy, know that there is an issue and a problem and that we are being oppressed, but they refuse to unite.
See, that's the thing. People don't know that they're being oppressed.
You really think that people walk
That's the
around here and don't
problem.
understand like the Rona? I call it the Rona. That the Rona was a hoax just to see if we would fall in line.
You know how many people that don't think the Rona was a hoax?
Again, nobody at this point, everybody sees it was a hoax.
But it still
Where did it go?
It still defeats. There's still, just because they might know that the Rona was a hoax.
The
or
Rona
not,
was a hoax. The government
they-
sold a lie. And
they still ignorant to the bigger picture. Like if you go to somebody right now, go to somebody who works at Walmart and ask them, do you get paid for what you do? And they're gonna tell you, yeah.
But they don't.
That's ignorant. That's what I mean. That's what I mean.
Like, here's
though,
the thing:
they're
we're working
ignorant to the
for
bigger
what we
picture.
we're working for what we've always. Okay, the fact that we got a roof over our head, but we have to pay for it, makes no damn sense. When technically this is our land, we could go out at any point in time and build whatever the fuck we want to.
The reason that things are the way they are and people aren't opening their minds is because they separate us, divide and conquer. It's
Yeah,
the
like
old-
land ownership.
They separate us.
How does anyone own anything that they never created?
They were the first. They the first ones who got it.
No, but they
Was the first. They was kind of the first ones that was. They was
No.
kind of the first one. They were the first ones to start making a profit off of it.
Thank you. They made.
That's what I mean. They were the first
made a
ones to
profit.
capitalism. They were the first persons to capitalize off of natural human resources. Basically,
Because that's something. See, there's so many conversations that I want to have.
Look, the problem is the fact that we are divided. Whether we it's almost like a prison system. When you go to jail, they separate you by gang that you live in, by color, but it's the same thing. America is separated by religion, political preference, race, sexual preference. Like, we're so separated and all fighting our own individual little battles that we're not fighting the bigger picture, which is oppression. You know what I'm saying? We can figure out laws and situations as far as gay rights and stuff like that, but at the end of the day, we got to figure out the problems when we go home. You know what I'm saying? And that's the big problem. The problem is the fact that people are ignorant to the bigger picture.
Or maybe
and
it's a problem.
they're being tossed the symptoms and not the actual problem itself.
That's exactly what I was gonna say. So how about this? They give us so many problems that we forget about the actual problem that was there in the first place.
Well, that's what they.
So there's never a solution because as quickly as you could. So it's literally and I look at the world that we live. So again, being older and where I'm at today, I see things so much clearer, so differently of how there was the war on drugs.
Mm-hmm.
And when everybody was focused on the war on drugs, they then brought AIDS.
Mm-hmm.
And then everybody was focused on AIDS and forgot about the war on drugs, so they could just start locking niggas up rampantly. Then it was cancer. So everybody forgot about motherfucking AIDS, the war on drugs, because it was then the big thing was cancer. And there's so many different things that continue to happen over and over and over, and it's happened like that.
They deflect. It's a bunch of deflection.
Constant deflection.
But it's not. I don't know. Like, for instance, like the whole war on drugs. Like, people think that the government did that to specifically fuck with people. And in reality, there was a whole thing going on with the Nicaraguans and them trying to keep the Russians from invading and taking over that land and being so close to America and South America. It was going to be hella close. Russia was going to be hella close. And Russia was always trying to get they're always trying to get in walking distance or marching distance or tank driving distance or, you know what I'm saying, away from the United States. So
at this point, they currently have Brazil.
So the best way to do that was to allow the drugs to go into the nation. And the best people to sell drugs to are poor Americans. Those are the best people to sell drugs to because they happen to, you know what I'm saying? And we some creative motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying? So we found ways to break the coke down and turn it into crack. That wasn't something the government was doing in some lab and said, hey, let's go sell this. That was some shit that some niggas cooked up and said, nigga, let's double our profit and so on and so forth. So it wasn't something like, I get it. Some stuff is planned, but you also have to continue to think, like, you also got to continue to think the reality of shit. And some shit just happens to be the way it is. You know what I mean? Like,
yes, and so I say the war on drugs was part 2 of the bigger picture, which was, so there's been a war on the nuclear family, but more so the nuclear black family. They started with welfare. Now, when they couldn't get enough fathers out of the home, which even today in 2023, black fathers are the most active of all fathers of every demographic. Black fathers are the most active fathers of every demographic in the entire world. We're more active with our children than anyone else. So when they couldn't get enough of us out of the home due to welfare and the things that they were pushing in the 50s, 60s, and 70s with the feminism and giving welfare and all of that, they went to phase 2.
Now, you do know rich people benefit from welfare.
Again, yes. And
yeah.
In order, guess what? Who was? I just posted a picture on my Facebook today where I said, "Let's be black again." When we was in our suits and our ties every single day, and we was basically holding this country up by bootstraps and taking our asses to work and protecting our families the way we're supposed to, and they were trying to tear that apart, right? Because if you tear that apart, again, we all know even today who benefits the most from so-called poor people, which they try to say that us as African Americans are poor, but we spend the most money on designer cars.
So your question is?
So it's not a question. It's literally what it was a plan. If you can take the black man out of the black home then you can control the black woman,
Well, it wasn't that they were.
which you in then turn control one of the largest buying demographics in this country and has always been in this country.
Well, as far as taking the black man out of the home, that wasn't something like it wasn't. I believe wasn't some kind of. I mean, I believe it was a plan on a bigger picture, but I don't think that was a plan specifically. I think that happened because of the situation that once we were so called free and allowed to do little certain things, we couldn't do a lot of shit. We couldn't work. We couldn't, you know what I'm saying? So you had a lot of black men that were leaving the family because shit was hard and it was embarrassing to be around the family, and you get caught up drinking, you get caught up in some kind of drugs, whether it's heroin and whatever it was. It was hard for a black man to get anything, any kind of job or anything like that. Shit, you know what I'm saying? Women even might have had a little bit easier. Black women might have had a little easier than black men.
Well, they always had it easier.
I'm not gonna say easy because it's not a good word to use.
No, it's not a good word, but it's the only way to really say it. They had it easier because they wanted them. It goes back to Red Book. Prior to 1965, black women were more so wearing more naturals and braids and things like that. But then they literally started putting magazines, Red Books, they gave them for free to black hairstylists, which is what made them start to perm their hair and straighten their hair and do those different things and styles that was keen to the Caucasian woman that they saw on TV on a regular basis. Whereas if you went to the white hairstylist, she paid her 79 cents to subscription to get it sent to them, or to get that book put in their hair salon.
Yeah.
So there were things that they were actually doing that it was it's a slight, but it's an attack on us. It's what they currently doing to kids today. I got 3 children. Why are you putting these books in my kids' school about adult sexual things that have nothing and calling it it's part of the LGBTQ and they should know? No, why should they know these things? These have nothing. This is sexuality, and you're selling sex.
Well, the history of their fight, but not to go in depth as far as
No. So these books, you literally read these books, and Tommy is kissing on Chris.
Yeah, you can't be having motherfuckers holding hands, and I mean, not necessarily.
It's going, but it's
not that.
It's very descriptive.
That's cool.
It's very descriptive details on boys being with boys and girls being with girls and how it's okay.
It's just too. You just can't. Like, I feel like
that is a direct. That is a very, very direct shot at controlling someone's mind at a very young age in order to push a plan.
Like anything, like sexual ed, just be a certain age that you have to.
At least they waited till what, 4th, 5th grade, maybe middle school,
like that. Yeah, like middle school is when they started junior high. Yeah,
but these are things they're now putting in 3rd grade reading levels.
Nah, you can't do that.
Yeah. So what I'm saying is, they did the same thing back in the 60s and the 70s to get us to come around to start doing things a little bit more Caucasian.
Yeah.
But at the woman. Now, and you're a black man. You know like I know. If you come to me, 9 times out of 10 we be like some white shit. That's some white shit. No, you ain't doing that. So there is a slight there's a slight difference.
All I'm to the main point that you were at is that once we were free, it's like being free with no knowledge of how the system works. You have no knowledge of how shit works as far as taxes, as far as how to run a business, as far as shit like that. So it was hard for black people, black men, to try to find success in America in a system that didn't even fuck with them.
True.
And then every single time that they was finding some success, like the
billionaire,
Black Wall Street,
Black Wall Street, Billionaires Row.
every single or what was going on in Harlem, like every time there was something rising up, they kept beating it down. And so that's why it's like, yo, it's impossible for the, you know what I'm saying, just after years of going through this, the black man started to disappear from the household because, you know, the responsibilities and stuff like that is not only hard, but the ignorance and knowledge of how to raise kids and how to, you know what I'm saying? Like, they fathers wasn't around and then they fathers wasn't around. Like, it gets passed down, you know what I mean? And so people, you know, like, and I hate when people say that, but it's true as far as like if my father was around, I'd be they'd be a different person or a different man. And that is true, but you know what I'm saying? Like at the same time, it's like it's been hard for black people. It's been really hard. Psychologically.
I make no excuses hard for black people. Our culture, especially at a time today where we have history to look at to say, at this point in time, instead of playing the victim, you have the choice to change. Well, we can make different decisions. We can make a lot of better decisions.
Yo, bro, that shit is hard, though.
It is hard. But I want you to think about this, especially since you're in music. Name a white group that's comparable to the City Girls. Name a white chick comparable to Cardi B.
But that, like, bro, that's what is making them money. Oh, so where is it coming from? It's coming from the fact that they need money to survive.
But hold up.
And they also aren't being raised the right way.
But why do we have to be the shit show of the shit?
Because that's what we're psychologically screwed mentally. We're like as a culture, we are screwed.
Okay, but then
what culture?
Why can Beyonce be Beyonce?
But get this.
And
what culture have people have gone through what we've gone through?
Now, okay, so I'll give you that, but I also want you to like this has always been my biggest thing.
Other than the Native Americans.
Yeah. Feel me on this.
I'm just saying, think about that.
I am, but I want you
to from their country.
I want you to think about this.
Brand new country.
True, but think about this. Whose style do they want to dress like? Whose hair do they want? Whose culture do they mimic on a regular? Every race in this world wants to be our culture, our music, our dress style, our hair, the way we look, our lips, our women's ass and titties with the little waist. We literally are the most wanted of cultures in the entire world. And they mimic everything we do from Africa to the U.S. They mimic everything we do.
Just like Africa.
So why can't we change it?
We don't see each other as we.
But
because some of us see each other as I'm a Christian.
Cool.
I'm a Republican, or I'm.
But why can't we have the next fucking Christina Aguilera minus the hood shit?
We do.
Who?
SZA.
Thank you. But is SZA as big as Christina Aguilera?
SZA's huge right now.
But
she's probably.
No, she's not. We can look at sales. A Christina Aguilera, a Britney Spears.
Those are okay. I get that.
So what I'm saying, and they didn't have to come out and be raunchy and sell sex.
They did sell sex.
No, they sold sex without selling it. They sold it because they was just attractive women. The City Girls got to come out and twerk.
Man. When they make them videos and they direct them a certain way, it's sex.
It's
soft. It's like soft sex.
But ours is not like the way shit is in our videos. Remember BET Uncut? Are you old enough for that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
so BET Uncut is like every.
But white people don't have to work as hard. They don't have to. They don't. If they don't want to do music, they don't have to.
But here's my thing.
With
Okay,
black people, we feel like if this is gonna give me millions of dollars, that's what I'm gonna do. And they're all programmed like the white people, where it's like, yo, the almighty dollar, get to the almighty dollar, chase the American dream. If you work hard, you could be wealthy. They really be throwing wealth in people's face like that's something attainable to most people or to anybody, really. And that's the problem. That's the problem. People feel like I don't know, man. They just feel entitled to this selfishness, to this life that only they should focus on their individual life, and they're not understanding the big picture of things. You know what I'm saying?
I just wish that for our culture, since we run like every culture out here, like I look at, and I like Eminem, right? Eminem is Eminem because he did what he saw his black friends do.
Eminem is Eminem because he didn't portray himself as a black man. He portrayed himself
Correct.
as a poor class member.
But
A white trailer park trash.
thank you. But
That's how he portrayed it.
He came in.
But he's not
as the first real. In all reality, the first real rapper to truly hit mainstream as a Caucasian. The first one to attempt it, I would say, is going to be Vanilla Ice.
Yeah, I was going to say Vanilla Ice.
Vanilla Ice. But right.
You had Marky Mark a little.
Marky Mark was still pop.
He wasn't. Yeah,
he was still pop. He was 100%
come on,
pop.
Come on.
Yeah.
Feel the vibration. Right? Yeah.
He was dance me because they had a CNC Music Factory. He fell under the same shit that they did. Right? But when it came to actual rap music, the first one to do it, Caucasian wise, if you ask me, is Eminem.
Yeah. But he had. It ain't like he just came out like. I mean, he came from a rap like a culture. He came from that black culture, as far as being in Detroit and then also being cultivated by Dr. Dre. Like,
I'm just saying
he was authentic. Eminem is authentic
in the music industry.
He didn't try to be like anybody else.
Yeah, perfect. He did something that no one else did. He did exactly which is what I'm talking about. He came in as a white rapper talking white, and you know why we don't go in on him, because he talked about the number one thing we know white people do: pop pills. I want to fuck my mom like she's a bitch. Fuck my baby mama because she ain't shit.
That's his perspective.
Yeah,
you know what
so
I'm saying? There's a lot of people that can't relate to that content.
In, I always say, for every 12 niggas set, there's one white boy in the crew. There's always the one white boy in the crew. And Eminem was like the one white boy. And we knew like his life was fucked up, but his life was fucked up different than our life was fucked up.
It's probably more fucked up.
Yeah.
Because trailer, you know what I'm saying? I'm sorry, I don't want to say, but people
I'll say people from trailer parks is trash. That's why they call them
trailer parks is trash. But I'm saying people who come from
they live a
poor,
hard life.
That's a really tough. It's a tough life. You know what I mean? That's what I mean.
That's
like,
why
people
they call
don't
it trailer park trash.
People don't look at each other as a whole. They don't put their religion to the side, their political preference to the side, their race to the side. They got to put all that to the side for the cause of humanity.
So then here's a question. This is a question that's up for debate, and I've do you feel like black people are prejudiced? Because even in having this conversation, it's clear to us, like, we let the white guys hang with us. If you got the Mexicans in the hood, the Mexicans can hang with you. If you got take for instance Nipsey Hussle. Nipsey, he was a Arabic. Mm-hmm. We allow everyone to hang with us and be a part of us, and we don't discriminate. Do you think that black people can truly be prejudiced?
Nah, man. I don't think black people can be prejudiced because we didn't. Like it wasn't that wasn't something that like how can we be racist? And we're racist. Like everything is the system is against us. You know what I mean? So if we don't like you, it's because of the system and how you treat us. You know what I'm saying? So it's like it's not necessarily racism if I don't like you because you white. It's because of what white means to me in my culture. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but as a white person, you could be racist because that's just I'm just saying, man, like I'm just saying that like we're the ones getting fucked up around here.
A lot.
You know what I mean? Everybody's getting fucked up. But we are the epitome of the poor class. You understand? Like people don't understand, like, I get it. Your culture was fucked up, but ours was turned inside out completely for 400-500 years, yo. Like, what culture of people has gone through that great deal of oppression? Because when the Jewish people came to America, that was what, 1945, 46, 47,
Yep.
48. And when they came, it was during a more modern time where it was not tolerated to be treated like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like to be treated like imagine if there was a country with a slave trade in 1945. It would be frowned upon. People would be like, "That's fucked up. We need to save those people. We need to stop what's going on." You know what I'm saying? It was but back in the days when the slave trade actually happened, that was tolerable.
Yeah.
That was like, shit, this is what we do. But now, but when you move forward, you know what I'm saying, with the Jewish people or the Italians or whatever country, you know what I'm saying, or a group of people that came into America with their problems in their country, they came in during a more modern time where being mistreated was not tolerable. But black people, we was there since the beginning. We've been mistreated, you know what I'm saying, completely gutted out of our culture, our language, our food, whatever the case may be. We've been completely gutted out completely. We don't necessarily have us people. We Americans, because we've been integrated so much that we're like,
we don't even know
we Americans.
We really don't even know what I just saw something
because
recently.
Africans don't fuck with us.
Yeah, I was gonna say we are so far removed from our history that it doesn't matter what they teach us in school. We're never gonna find out. As African Americans, 90% of the black people in this country probably can't even name 11 countries in Africa. We are so far removed.
Yeah, but I mean, we Americans, man.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, that's what we are.
We're programmed culturally as Americans, as African Americans. I get it. Our ancestors come from Africa, but like people have a misunderstanding of history. Like people think that, like, when they think about Africans, they think like, oh, like Africa was a whole of people. Like, nah, bro, they was separated by tribes. They didn't see themselves as a whole continent. They saw themselves as, nah, we don't fuck with that tribe. We don't, you know what I'm saying? So we going woo 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 and blah blah blah. Europeans had some goods that the Africans needed, and the Africans was like, shit, we'll give you our slaves. We got some slaves from tribes that we done collected.
We don't want these niggas no more.
What you want? What you want? We got it. We got you. It's all business. It's all business. It's all business. You know what I'm saying? That's how that was. You know what I'm saying? They get the Zulu tribe, nigga. The Europeans gave them niggas they strapped them up, nigga. Matter of fact, let us help you out. Let me help y'all collect this. Like, here goes some guns. Y'all can even take over some territories. So it's a lot of people that don't understand, like, each country in Africa is different. They got their own culture. They got their own way of doing things. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't just group Africa together like that. That's why Africans don't fuck with Americans, black people in America, because they look at us like old lazy ass motherfucking black people, because we is. We ain't just lazy black people, lazy white people, lazy brown people. Who, if you were an American,
most of the people in this country is lazy as fuck.
Nigga,
that's what most of us is
Western society is a joke to a lot of countries.
All right, well then that goes to the next question and the next subject then. On a scale of 1 to 10, how close do you think we are to World War III?
Really close. On a scale to 10?
Yep.
Shit, man, I say 8.
8?
I say 8.
So even China today is getting on the U.S. because the U.S. Basically came into their waters over there in the Philippines with one of their warships, and it's getting real. It's getting real. Yeah. That's how World War starts. It's shit going all over the country, all over the world. You got shit in Ukraine. You got shit in the Middle East. You got shit over there in fucking North Korea, South Korea. You got shit over there in the Philippines, like you just said. I think I had just read something about some warships getting hit. Yep. So warships getting hit. So this is going down over with the Israel situation, and we over there off the coast. Iran is doing their thing.
China and Russia was caught at top of Alaska.
Yep. Well, they been it, so that's why we don't even.
They keep. It's almost like they testing shit. Like, how close can we get?
So
okay, that didn't work. So now we can check that off and know that this is what we got to do. Part,
and people don't even realize this. What separates Alaska from Russia is literally miles.
Yeah.
Literally miles.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's a pretty horrible terrain though.
Yeah, it is.
But it ain't the way you wanna. It ain't the way you want to invade. If you want to invade,
it's called the Bering Sea, and this is where we do our crabs or get our crabs from. They got a whole fucking show about the shit. Now the crazy part about it is they canceled crab season because they said the crabs are gone. No, the crabs aren't gone. The Russians have actually been inhabiting those waters and have stayed in those waters way more than what they usually do. And then China is off the coast of Hawaii. And they basically just been going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Like, what is y'all niggas gonna do?
Doing tests. I feel like they've been doing test runs, man. They've been definitely doing test runs and shit because.
And I think
shit has been.
There's this thing called the BRICS nation. Brazil, Russia, India, Syria, China,
Iran.
Well, Iran joined.
But I'm sure it was.
Africa,
I'm sure everybody not in NATO.
60% of the countries in the world right now are now part of the BRICS nation, which is making NATO real uneasy because countries are looking at NATO and going, I don't know if I want to be a part of NATO no more with the way everything is playing out with BRICS. And it's all a huge money play, especially since November 1st. BRICS money actually went live. Oil can no longer be bought in the Middle East with the dollar. A BRICS dollar is worth 55 US dollars. So one BRICS dollar is worth 55 US dollars, and yeah, it's just getting wild. So you say 8?
I say 8, man. I feel like we're really close to this, close to a world war, man. This is how it usually rolls. Maybe little shit like this popping off all over the place, and then out of nowhere, everybody just say fuck it. Because right now, I guarantee you the goal is how the fuck can we get on U.S. land? That is the main thing. Because
have you seen what's been happening in Mexico?
We low key. We not even low key. We are high key of fortune.
No, have you been seeing what is happening in Mexico in the last year? How they just let. So just in the last 3 months alone, they say there's at least 300,000 between the age of 18 and 28-year-old men from other countries they've just willingly let walk through the gates, cross the border. Excuse me.
Oh hell no.
Cross into the border. Now, you got a lot of Middle Easterns. You got a lot of Brazilians, Nicaraguans. You got a lot of refugees from like Cuba, which we already know China took over Cuba. You have a lot of Chinese. There's whole videos, especially all over TikTok, with the Border Patrol, where people are recording it. Like, why are y'all letting all of these people into our country right now? Right? Now, think about this. Imagine that these people are really spies sent here to infiltrate.
I wouldn't put it past.
And the moment the call is made or whatever is done, boom. And they already here on top of us.
I believe that would happen. I believe it, man.
It's like 9/11 all over again. Only the U.S. flew them in and flew them out.
We definitely got to be cautious of shit, man, because, man, I don't know. What is the end game?
What is the end game?
Turn the whole world into Russia? Turn the whole world into China? What is the end game?
Well, so
control the whole world. What's the end game?
You remember?
If the end game is make the whole world a social party, let's do it then. Fuck it.
You remember the Roman Empire?
You know what?
Right?
Let me chill out.
You remember the Roman Empire?
Let me chill out before they start calling me a communist.
I always say
like being a communist is bad. It's crazy.
In the world we live in, the current climate we are in, it's not everything that people think it's gonna be, and people aren't paying attention to what's really going on around us to truly understand that the world we live in is not as safe as we want it to be.
Never has, never will.
Now,
history always points to war.
With that being said, how much of this is in your music? How much of conversation like this or topics like this happen to be in your music?
A lot of it, exceptional of conspiracy theories. I kind of, I don't know. I don't really make that a target as far as conspiracy theories. My main thing in my music is mental stability. Because at the end of the day, mental stability is the most important thing. Knowledge of self is the most important thing, even more important than political awareness. Because at the end of the day, like you've had so many activists that was probably beating their wives at the house. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, man. And then, you got a lot of you gotta work on you. And if I work on me and you work on you and she work on her and he work on him and they work on them, we can work on shit together. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's really hard because you bump into people who act like not even act like they want to, but they haven't dealt with pride. You have a lot of people that haven't dealt with pride. Like when I was protesting and with the George Floyd stuff, there were a lot of like potential activists that were like coming out the crowd like, yo, I want to say this and I want to say this and speak this and this, that, and the third. And they were just so, just zealous of the situation that was going on. But
a lot of that
they hadn't dealt with pride yet. They hadn't dealt with, I need to be humble. I need to They hadn't dealt with that.
Humility. Yeah,
they hadn't dealt with that. And when you don't deal with that, that gets in the way of the cause. Because now you want to be on camera. Now you want to, you know what I'm saying? You want to scratch that little ego that you have. You know what I mean? And so if you haven't been in a situation or have experience that you've dealt with your pride and had to put your pride in check, it can get in the way of the cause, in the way of the revolution. So you might not intentionally was greedy with the money, but because you hadn't dealt with who you are as a greedy person, like you got all the intentions to want to help the world, but you ain't dealt with that part of you. And now it's gonna get in the way. Now you're a leader, and now you taking money from people. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's why knowledge of self is more important, because when people have knowledge of self, you can't be taken advantage of. You remember Papa Doc? You ever heard of Papa Doc from Haiti?
Yeah.
He was a quote unquote ex-revolutionary, I would say, ex-revolutionary. And all he did was basically turn the people against the white people, but not give the people knowledge and educate themselves. You don't gotta educate yourself. I'm all the education you need. And then when the white people left Haiti, he did them just as worse as the white people was doing them.
Well, ignorance is bliss, and it's the easiest way to control people, which is why they put shows like Keeping Up with the Kardashians on instead of, anything educational. And the most educational stuff, as they say, put it in a book because the dummies ain't going to read it.
It's not that they gonna read it. It's that they don't pay the teachers enough money to teach them how to read it.
Well,
That's the problem. They don't care about education in this country.
But as an adult today, people have the choice to pick up a book and read it.
Yeah, but if you aren't influenced to choose, then you're not gonna do it.
But we also have to take some accountability and go, when you become an adult, you do have the mind frame to make certain choices.
That's not true.
We make choices to sell drugs. We make choices to go take our asses to work. We make choices to pick up the internet and read Facebook and Instagram and TikTok. We read all of that shit all day long.
All of those things are,
but they won't pick up a book.
And all of those things enslave people, right? So people hate when I go to this. They hate when I bring this example up, but they don't understand how much they coincide. Like, you can't just tell a slave, bruh, at a certain age, man, you at a certain age, you just gotta eventually say to yourself that you gotta leave the plantation. You can't do that because you've grown up. Many
times there was a lot of them that did grow
and
get to an age and say, I'm leaving, and they tried to escape.
And there is a lot today. There's a lot of black men like me and yourself who you know what I'm saying, who probably was the slaves that was like, you know what, I'm finna get up out of this motherfucker.
And think about this. We basically grew up like 40, 50 miles away from each other in harsh environments around gang members, gang banging, murder, drug sales, right? And it was a choice because my parents didn't teach me to pick up books. I just said, I'm seeing that shit in life is not making sense.
I feel like
there has to be more.
When you're ignorant to choice, that choice is taken away from you.
And that's where I feel like, okay, and now that I can agree with, because again, you know how many niggas I know to this day right now still ain't left the neighborhood? Still don't know what the beach looks like.
What I'm saying.
You are 10 miles away from the beach.
If you're ignorant to your freedom, you gonna say, shit, I might as well stay in this plantation, because if I leave this plantation, because you might be ignorant to the freedom, but you're knowledgeable of that death. You're knowledgeable of the consequences, though, because they put that in you. They've definitely taught you consequences, but they haven't taught you the stuff to you know what I'm saying? So that's why it coincides with today. All of these things that enslave us mentally, as far as labor, I can tell you, right, a person can be like, fuck it, man, I'm just gonna leave the slave plantation. Fuck it, man, I'm just gonna leave my job. Can you really leave your job? Because you leave your job, you gonna lose, you can't pay your rent. You ain't gonna have a place to stay. Shit gonna crumble.
That's why about a year ago I said I want men, just as a whole, men. Just don't take your ass to work for 24 hours.
I'm just saying. All I'm saying is
turn this whole world upside down.
The ability of choice is taken away from you because of the system that you live in. In order to survive, there are things that you gotta do.
The choice isn't taken away.
In order
it's the ideology of the fact that there's a choice that has been taken away.
Most of your friends and the people that your peers are selling their labor for cheap. They're literally
we are
slaves.
not getting what we are worth.
Exactly. So all I'm saying is, how come they smart asses won't get up and leave the job?
Again,
They got to.
there is an ideology that if we do not do what we are supposed to, slave mentality, if we do not do what we are supposed to, there are going to be repercussions.
Right. Exactly. And they've created a system where that becomes a repercussion. Is what I'm trying to say.
Well,
They've
now,
they've created a system
where we enslave
your
ourselves.
Choice,
they don't have to enslave us. We
enslave
ourselves.
exactly. We enslave ourselves.
So there is no longer an actual slave master.
But here's the thing, though. Let me tell you though. Just like slavery, just like anything with a rotten foundation, it's going to crumble. I don't care how many laws you reform. I don't care how many. No matter what, it's going to crumble, and America is a really young country. America is young as fuck, bro.
But we're making the exact same
compared to
we're
all
making
of
the exact same
but
mistakes as the Roman Empire, and we about to fall the same way the Roman
and
Empire.
And all
fell.
I'm saying is that's going to come. That's all I'm saying. It's like America was built on a rotten foundation. And all they do is add rooms, add windows, make new colors, paint the walls different. But the foundation is still rotten. And it might take some time.
So you saying this, the US is basically a HUD home.
It's finna crumble. And all I'm saying,
Section 8 is about to run out.
and the only reason why it's always like that is because of social conscience. You know what I'm saying? When you get people who are enslaved together like that, eventually they come together because circumstances become dire, and it's like death is probably better than going through what I'm going through right now. So when that time comes, when the system crashes and everything is like, nigga, I can't get toy. Perfect example. You heard of Attica.
Yes.
Remember with Attica?
Yes.
Attica was fucked up for a while. Motherfuckers wasn't getting their letters out. They was getting one little sheet of toilet paper per month. They was shitting on themselves. They was stinking. They was getting one shower. They was getting treated so fucked up that it didn't matter whether you was white. It didn't matter you was brown.
It's
it
just
didn't
the
matter
fact that you was on the other side and you was associated with a number.
Bruh, no, what I'm saying is, in order for them to rebel like that, circumstances had to get where they were. Where they was like, I don't give a fuck who you are, nigga. If you can help me fight this shit, if you can help me to get some toilet paper for my ass, if you can help me to get some right food, if you can help me to get these things that make me a human, if you can help me to get that,
power play.
I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. And that's what happened.
And again, that is, even if you look at prison, you got 5,000 inmates to like 80 motherfucking guards, right? But you literally maintain keeping yourself locked down. So,
yeah, that's the system that we live in, man. It's America, and it's not even just America, man. It's the world. China is they oppress their people too.
Again, this is nothing new to. It's not
Russia oppresses their people. You know what I'm saying? This is weird.
It's every single country. It's every single country. It's biblically. It's in the Quran. It's in every context book.
Capital motherfuckers have been taking advantage of poor people.
The rich, the wealthy will always oppress the non. It has always been like that. It is never going to change. Now, with that, before we even go in, where can people find you at? And where can they find your music?
You can find me everywhere. If you just type in my name, FE''LA, and my last name, INIKO, you can find me anywhere. I'm all over. Google, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, whatever. Find me. Be liberated. I promise you, I will liberate you. If you ain't liberating already.
Now, I saw you at this wonderful event called IceCon, what, 3 weeks ago now.
Mm-hmm.
You did a song there. It was new because I hadn't seen it. I ain't seen no video. I ain't seen it nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
What was the name of that song?
Um, was it Rolling Stone? What I did to the Rolling Stone beat? Because there were two songs that the intro I don't have. I don't have a release to that. Was it what I started with, or was it the one after that?
I have. I was moving around, so it may be the one that you came out with. The one you also made a post that said everybody keeps asking me about this, and it's not
Roll
released.
Up. The last song, Roll Up.
Okay,
That's got a video. That's got everything.
when is that gonna be released?
That's already released. That's on my rehab album.
So it's out now.
It's out.
Okay,
It's out. Video, everything.
give the people a sample of what that sounds like.
A sample. I'll give you an example.
He said
Like-
an example.
Like Jimi Hendrix. That song is very it's like Jimi Hendrix where you're singing, but you're not singing. Like you really just like, why? It's just funky. Like why is it obvious? Like you know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
it's funky, but it's not like Beyonce or Luther Vandross. It's just talking in a tolerable tone.
So your sound is very different. Initially, upon hearing you, it kind of is a reminder of what Kendrick kind of was before he got signed. And then now there is, oh my God, it's another. He's from Inglewood too. What the hell is his name? He was on the show on, was it Netflix?
You talking about Sir's brother?
What the hell is his name? I know he would kill me right now if he hear me. I hope he ain't watching.
Yeah, man.
He ain't gonna be like, nigga, you know who the fuck I am.
D Smoke.
D Smoke.
D Smoke. D Smoke.
I'm about my bad, nigga. My bad.
I got it though.
Okay.
I got it though. I got you, D Smoke. I got you.
Fuck. Okay. Right.
It wasn't Slay. I ain't say Smokey D.
But you
Pause.
are aching a little bit to what D Smoke is, right? But then again, there's a different style that goes with it, that also at the same time, it's like, okay, so if you take Kendrick before he got signed mixed with D Smoke, okay, and then you take a speech from a Malcolm X mixed with a little bit of
it's a lot of greatness, man. It's a lot of greatness.
With a Martin Luther King, because people pay attention when you are up there.
Yeah.
They it's like they were standing at attention.
Captivated.
Okay? Where does that sound come from? How do you listen to a beat, instrumental, and go, okay, this is what it's gonna sound like?
So my sound comes from years of finding myself. And you do that by emulating the greats. You know what I'm saying? The reason why I sound like Kendrick or Cole is because I was inspired by the same artists that they were inspired by. I listened to them a lot. You know what I mean? And I've been doing music, like I said, for a really long time. And when you're doing music for a long time like that, you perfect your craft. And so my sound comes from, there's no other way to say it. It comes from the greats. It comes from a mixture of the greats. You know what I'm saying?
So when you're in
listening
the studio,
to Biggie all the time, listening to Pac all the time, as far as for
but
content.
you don't sound like them, and not even close. That's
Sometimes I have my moments where I can sound like Cole, I can sound like Kendrick, I can sound like Andre sometimes. Sometimes I can sound like Lupe. And maybe it's not so much sounding like them. It's more so
every now and then you might have a cadence of a part of a verse But again, there's something that is different there, which is
My story,
when you're in the
I have a
studio.
different story. You know what I'm saying? I have a different story, a different message. So I have a lot of different other things to put together than they have.
So overall, if this was your moment to tell the world something about you that they would never get, but from you and you only, what would you say to them?
That they would never get.
This is the last chance that they can get a message from you.
A message or something
Of
something about me that they would never get.
That they're not gonna get anywhere else. They're not
Jeez,
gonna get
man,
it out
'cause
your music.
I'm such an open book. So that's hard to answer because I leave myself vulnerable most of the time. And that could be really tough. But I leave myself vulnerable. So I don't know, man. My message is always gonna be love, though. Love and peace. Peace and love. Finding peace within and having love for all. That's I feel like the most important. I feel like that's the blueprint to life. Because when you have peace within, it doesn't matter what's going on in your life. It doesn't matter the circumstances, none of that. And when you have love for all, it puts you in a good space with people. It could put you in good positions with people. It could put you in, you know what I'm saying? Even the struggle, even the hard and bad times. That's what makes the good times important. So that's why I feel like peace and love is you know what I'm saying? It's the most important thing in life, man. That's that I live by that.
All right.
Because I'm an open book. Yeah.
Any new projects coming up?
I can't say. I'm not really gonna. I don't really like to say whether I have. I'm an artist, so there's always gonna be something new coming. You know what I'm saying? So I don't want to put any type of pressure or any type of tie to my creativity. So you just have to continue to be a supporter. You just have to continue to know that I'm going to make music. You know what I mean? It's as I evolve, though. You know, I don't never like to force music. That's why I don't have a lot of features like that, because it has to be right. It's gotta be right. You know, a lot of these niggas be thinking that they could just go to the studio and make a hit. Like, oh, I just came from the studio and made a hit, made like 3, 4, 5 hits. Okay, well, why is it that it takes Dre?
It's not. That's just. Everybody feels like that, but that's not reality.
That's what I'm saying. Why does it take Dre 100, 200, 300 tries? Why does it take Eminem? Why does it take all of these greats, all of these years and all of this different fucking trying to get the shit that they
living in reality?
And that's what I mean. That's what I mean. Like when I create, I have to make sure that the quality. I have to make sure it's not just. It just don't sound good to the nigga that's in the studio. It's gotta mean. You gotta think about the bigger picture when you're creating music. You have to think about the masses. You know what I'm saying? Of people that's gonna listen to your music.
Me personally, this is what I always say. If you want to know if you got a hit or not, and this sounds hella weird, but it's so true, because you got to put it around ears that are not trained.
Yeah.
Get around some elementary school kids.
No.
Make sure your music is clean.
No, man, don't do that,
man. Who listens to music more than anybody else out here?
Nah, don't do that, man.
But it's true.
Who's
putting it on TikTok?
Kids have more access to these damn devices now.
Thank you,
so
but it's kids that are
programmed.
It is now the kids that are downloading the music. It's now the kids that are doing the dances on TikTok to the music.
The problem, though. You don't want to, as an artist, that's the problem that we've been talking about this whole podcast. Motherfuckers doing what everybody else is doing because it's going to be profitable for them. I do what I do and rap what I rap about because I'm not finna, that's the truth. That's my art. That's my truth. That's the way you know what I'm saying? I choose to, you know what I'm saying, rap about shit that matters. And I'm not gonna veer away from that. So when you got kids that's like, oh shit.
Well, no. This wasn't for you. What I'm saying is these people that run around saying, I have a hit, I have a hit, I have a hit, I have a hit.
Yeah.
If you really want to know if your music is really hot like that, it has to be around an untrained ear.
Nah.
Children?
Because J. Cole just got his first #1 hit in his whole career.
But J. Cole still also, if you look at who's bouncing to J. Cole, they skateboard kids.
It's not just I ain't a skateboard kid.
True, but this one, the one when it comes to because we have to remove ourselves from these conversations, which is why when I used to be an artist, I took myself out of these conversations. I went to the skate parks and the bike parks, and I wanted to get I wanted to find out what these kids was gonna listen to and if they actually liked the song. You know why? Because that's what's gonna tell me whether it's cool or not. For the most part, when you get to junior, senior in high school, now you want to be part of the cool kids in the in crowd and all that shit. So if your friends say it's trash, they say it's trash, but you gonna go home secretly and listen to it. But when you go to a skate park, a bike park, which whether we like it or not, those are probably the freest thinkers in the world today. Now all of a sudden, if you go put it in their hands and they listen to it, and they riding to it, and they putting it on their boombox, with they blasting while they skateboarding and riding. 9 times out of 10, that song gonna make it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, from that aspect, as far as the music and everything, it's always gonna be my responsibility to make substance appealing. So that's all, and that's always gonna be something that I'm gonna have to do, like in the lab. You know, you always gotta trial and error, try to figure out how do I make this substance appealing? How do I make moral stability appealing? How do I make positivity appealing? How do I make it appealing to the masses? How do I package this truth up? You know what I'm saying? How do I sell this salad? Do I gotta add some more bacon to it? Do I gotta add some egg and some more dressing? What do I gotta add to this salad to make it appealing enough for you to wanna get it? You know what I'm saying?
Feel it. So again, let the world know who you are.
Peace. My name is Fe'La again. You really could just call me Fe'La. I'm fine with other ways of saying it. Well, I'm only fine with 2 ways of saying it: Fe'La or Fe'La, which is Fe'La Kuti. So it's either those. Those are either the 2 ways to say it.
Where can they find you at?
And you can find me everywhere. All you gotta do is type in my name, FE'_LA, and then my last name is INIKO.
What'd you think of the podcast?
Man, this was a dope podcast, man. I was able to really just literally kick back and really talk, man, for sure.
So I try to make this into a situation where people get to be themselves too. I want people to, for those that tap in.
I gotta be back, man. There's more stuff I gotta talk about.
Oh no, I'm definitely bringing you back. Like
Yeah.
I ain't gonna lie, this is one of the first conversations I got to have where it's like, okay, we can actually get in deep on some real shit.
Yeah.
And it's a real conversation, and at least there's good talking points.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So yeah, you definitely gonna be back.
For sure.
I ain't worried about that.
Because I want to talk about these artists being exploited. I want to talk about a lot of stuff, man.
Usually the first time I bring anyone on, because it's their first time here, it's an interview. Who are you? Where you at? What you do? How you like? Get people to where they can gravitate to you, kind of, feel like they, get to know you a little bit. Now after that, because I never choose the topics, I tell my guests, choose the topics you want to talk about. So if that's what you want to talk about when you come back, we're going to put it on the calendar.
We're going to do that.
We're going to make it happen, because, a lot of artists out here today are being exploited. And the bad part about it is they being exploited by motherfuckers that ain't even about shit.
Man, horrible, man, horrible.
They not even getting you to the next level.
At all.
They just taking what little chips you got.
Ain't even worth it, man. Ain't even worth it.
So, I appreciate you coming on to the show, sir.
Appreciate you for having me, man. Thank you so much, man. It was an honor.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank y'all for tuning in to another episode of Therapy Session. That was Fe'La and Iniko. Make sure you guys check us out every Friday night, as well as Sunday night for Friday and Sunday Night Live. Friday night is at 9 p.m. Sunday night is at 8. Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday, we do what is called Therapy Session, which is what you're watching tonight. And then on Wednesdays, we highlight and celebrate love at its finest. We talk about the things that a lot of people just refuse to talk about. They always want to downplay what it is and what it's about, and not here on No Cap Reacts. I'm your man Bailey, aka Mr. Go Get 'em. And